So now at Miracosta, you have the PeopleSoft, right, which is SURF, which is like our campus solutions, right, for SDCCD. And then what happens is they have a separate system that they use. They have MyEd Plan for their long-range planning worksheet, which could also be done within PeopleSoft when you're breaking things down term by term. And for the degree audit, they also have a separate one, a separate program that they use. What is it called? Degree something?
Degree Works.
Degree Works, yeah. And then the fourth one, what's the third one that I wanted to talk about? MyEd Plan, Degree Works, and
There's iLinks.
oh, no, not iLinks. It's the shopping schedule builder.
Oh, yeah.
How you guys already use campus solutions? Well, they have something called a schedule builder that allows them to put courses in a cart and then push it through. So I was just hoping maybe we could take this time for the Mesa folks to do a demo so that the faculty at Miracosta can see how it works. And also to let you know that tomorrow we'll do the Q&A if it's okay. And just a warning that the previous vice chancellor at SDCCD, so she bought the more affordable version of PeopleSoft. So it may look slow, but don't let that get to you, because I am committed to getting us a faster version if we could.
Can I ask a question before I get started with the demo?
Of course, you can ask anything.
So for the counselors, what is it that doesn't work for you?
Shit, this is turning into a counseling appointment.
I mean, do you like it? I mean, don't like it? I mean, there's things that we don't like about ours.
So sometimes it's incorrect. So it misses classes, or it decides to take a class and use it in one section, or the catalog year is off. I mean, what else?
There's a lot of additional coding that has to happen when they're doing it. So if it's not up to date, the information is not accurate for both the counselor and the student. And so just it sounds to me like the maintenance is hard. So when they do these upgrades and so there's these gaps, and sometimes it pulls weird things over because I think it's not within the same system. So it's trying to, there's all of this back end coding that happens. So whatever they're writing has to match what's needed. And as we're specifically right now in two different eras with the common course numbering, it's just weird at that point, so.
Hello, everybody. I apologize for coming in late. I'm Jeff Higginbotham. Thank you, Eileen, the faculty coordinator for student accessibility services here at Miracosta. Good to see all of you.
Hi, Jeff. I think I know your wife.
Yes, the better half. Yeah. Yes. Good to see you. Yeah, I had worked at the district for a while, so you've got a great reputation. Good to see you again.
Thanks. We also have issues on the back end, and things always have to be updated every year in the catalog year. But it's true, anything that you bolt on in a customization always has to be tested to see if it still works anytime there's a new upgrade. So we don't have the magic solution here, but what I think, even though we got the sheet version for Campus Solutions, it's all integrated. So everything that we use is within Campus Solutions. The educational plan is within Campus Solutions, the planner. So everything's in one system, and it still has to be maintained. And sometimes we don't you'll see the aesthetics. It may not be as nice as some of yours. And I think our evaluators do a really great job trying to stay on top of it. But sometimes we also have issues with courses not falling into the proper categories. But I think our evaluators do a good job. They're the ones who maintain the accuracy of the courses and meeting the requirements, and especially with transcript evaluation. So I'm going to show you how we maybe log into a system. We would pull up an educational plan for a student. We would add courses to a planner. And I think the only customization that we did was the planner part. And when I show that to you, you'll see that the planner was delivered, but the functionality is we created the planner for the counselor side to deliver it to the students. Okay, so let me see. Let me share the screen and we'll get started.
And in case you're wondering, Guillermo was, when SDCCD was switching to PeopleSoft, I was trying to get rid of him. So I gave him this assignment of being a part of the representation for Mesa to make sure that counseling needs are met. I wasn't really trying to get rid of him. I did need him,
She
okay?
did a good job. She got rid of me.
But we definitely do have to keep an eye out, even though the evaluators do a great job. It's not something where, you know, we have to change the catalog here if it's wrong. We have to look to make sure something's populated in the correct place. You know, occasionally something's coded a way that's maybe not the way it should be coded. So we, like you, we definitely have to stay on top of that as well.
Yeah, so
And I
part of their challenges, Guillermo, is when they're looking at, when they have an ed plan with a student, when they said not all classes are there. So they'll have to say something like, you don't see this class there, but I assure you, it's there. You've met the requirement. So they look a little silly, Karina.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, Guillermo, we don't have transfer credit integrated. So for instance, if a student has an external transcript from, say, Palomar or Mesa, you're not gonna find it in their degree audit. It's not integrated into it. The counselor has to fill in the blanks for the student. And so their audit's always looking incomplete.
So how do they blend it in? Is it at time of petitioning for graduation?
Yes, that's when they'll do the audit themselves, and that's when we'll find out whether the student graduates or not. No, I'm just kidding. We usually know upfront, but there's that possibility that perhaps we're not catching it.
Yes, and that would be difficult because the way we built it, our transcript evaluations are built in. And I'll show you an example how that's built in.
Thank you.
And yes,
But they do evaluate before they request. So you're saying when they request to graduate, when they put in that petition, they don't even evaluate until then, the evaluators, or they can get a request to have it evaluated earlier
They evaluate then and there.
or at the end.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
You know, just to clarify, we can submit a credit evaluation, but it will not ever show up on the degree audit.
okay. Well, there's ways maybe in the planner that you can make a note and make some modifications for yourselves. How the student could see in the planner, maybe, and you'll see in a minute, under unassigned courses, how they could be applied later. So there'll be solutions. It's going to be up to you guys how to be creative and build that and how you work with your students. Remember, keep in mind, some of the things that you see, the forward-facing stuff that you see here is the aesthetics from our district, but basically we're moving into PeopleSoft and Campus Solutions, okay? So you probably have something similar here, right? But it's going to be from Mira Costa. So when we sign in, we have our tiles, and remember this is, and we have different tiles, and these tiles, wow, look at this, it's super slow today. Let me get out of here.
This is the geriatric version.
Well, it's on the web, right? So what that means is that it's as fast as the internet. I guess we only got the $99 a month version of it. Okay, let's try this again. So we have these tiles. The students have a dashboard, the college student dashboard. And this is what students would click on. If a student were to click on their dashboard, this is what they would see. And what I'm going to be talking about is two functions in here that the student will use. Right here is the student planner. So when we tell the student the courses we have inputted are in your planner, so the student will click on My Planner. And what they would see is they would see the courses that the counselors have recommended for the students to take semester by semester. Okay. And there's also some other functions that are delivered through PeopleSoft, browsing, course catalog, and plan by my requirements is the educational plan. But this is probably the most important function for students to start looking in their class schedule, how to start planning courses, okay? The other thing that's important for them is they could click on my educational plan and they would be able to see their educational plan as we update their plans, let's say as an ADT for business administration or computer science, and they would click on my educational plan and they'll be able to see the courses that are required, okay? A student could also see their transfer credit report, and I'll show you from a different view, but they could see the transcript credits that have been evaluated from outside of the district in their external education, and they'll be able to look at that as well, okay? Through the counselor page, we go in here and we come in here, and as counselors, we have either if you're teaching a class or not, looks very similar to the student page. But the pages that we use most in counseling, we're going to use the counseling center. And you can navigate from this button down here or this button. And these are delivered functions, okay? What's not deliverable, when I click on the counselor function and I put in a student, and we use the student ID, and we could search by name, first name, or student ID. So I'm going to show you what's delivered, and I'm going to show you what we customize on our part, okay? So what's deliverable up here when we look at these tabs here, and I think you probably see these in your campus solutions as well, I'm not quite sure, but you'll see my advisees. We never use this. We'll go over the counselor center. We'll go over general information. We'll go over transfer credit and academics. And this is the page we customized, okay? So we're stealing actually a little bit from you because we're going to copy your Student 360, okay? So you guys are familiar with Student 360. Are you using it already? Okay. So we're going to use the Student 360, but we're going to try to keep our functionality by having a dashboard for our counselors so we could see everything at once. So some of the things that we're going to keep in 360 is to be able to see right away the student name, the ID, the ability to pull up their unofficial transcripts from Mesa College. There's some functions we change enrollment limits. So if we want to increase enrollment limits to a student from, let's say, 20 to 22, we could do that. Their current major, their ed plan here, their catalog year, they call it requirement terms here, their matriculation status, milestones, their levels for English and math, external education. And then you'll see here, this student has their transcripts that have been evaluated, okay? You guys can't see that, right? Because you're gonna see, how do you see their transcripts? Do you go, we have something called eTrieve to pull up their transcripts. Do you have that as well, or something different?
Isn't that your iLinks?
Yeah, it's iLinks, yeah.
They uploaded the hard copy, they scan it into a system.
And we have this, so it's maybe similar to this. We have eTrieve, and we could see they upload their test scores, their IB scores, and their transcripts. So if a student's transcripts have not yet been evaluated, we could take a look at their unofficial transcript, and we could take a look at how we are going to maybe help the student initially without them being evaluated. So you have your own function, you have your own software to use to upload these things as well. And Carrie, join in at any time.
You're doing a great job, Guillermo.
Oh, thank you. And then we have our academic plans. Okay, so we could put more than one. So for this student, it's computer science for transfer. And this is the planner. So the planner is basically, you can see that the counselor put in these courses. And we could select courses. So if you've been a counselor here for a while, you could just type in these courses, or you could pull them from the catalog, or you could pull them from the educational plan. We give students the ability to look at referrals, so like referrals to DSPS, Transfer Center, Veterans. We give them action items with live links, how to apply for financial aid, how to connect to assist, even FAFSA applications. And down here is comments. So if we want to provide any additional comments for students, we could also do that. Okay. Any questions so far?
Guillermo, I was gonna ask you for a favor.
Yes.
Can you scroll up to the planner, please? Is this your account or your wife?
Oh, this is a real student.
No, it's Jimaru. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's your name as a counselor. Oh, it's my, oh, okay. So what I want to know is, what if you're working with this student and you guys have not determined the specific GE class for a category? Can you show them how you would enter it by the area with a unit value?
So let's go. So clarify that question a little bit more for me,
If
Eileen.
you just want a person to take a class from humanities or something.
Okay, so this class, so what we would do is that when working with a student, we always have to add a row in Campus Solutions. So I add a row and I go to plan my requirements. This is the same as my educational plan. And when I click on my educational plan, let me see, I'm gonna make this a little bigger. So this is the educational plan for the student. Notice at the top, I could print out I could do a PDF and I could return to the planner. But this shows me here, remember, we evaluate our students' transcripts. It gives us a GPA with those evaluated transcripts. It gives us the CSU units, how many total units they have taken. It gives us our GPA UC. It gives us a transferable units for the students. So you notice the difference? So the evaluators have gone in and says, these courses are only UC transferable and there's more CSU transferable units. It tells us the courses they're currently enrolled in. And aesthetically, it's not very pleasing. So it takes a little practice to get your eye on it. But the first part is going to be the major. Computer Science for Transfer, Mesa College. We're a 3-district college, so we'll have ed plans for Mesa, City, and Miramar. It tells us the catalog year, 24, 25, Mesa College. It tells us the units we need for the major. And it lists here the courses that they have completed, are in progress, and the blank status means they haven't done it. And we would recommend those courses.
And the T in front of the A just shows that it's a course that transferred in.
Correct, that's transfer. So you're not going to have that. So you have to decide, and I'll give you a suggestion. So this is a evaluated course here, and it was a transfer credit from another institution, and yours will be blank, right? So the challenge would be the student says, I think I still need it. So you have to write those notes someplace. Then we go into the general education pattern, IGETC, and we could see that it goes into each category. I'm sure you have the same advising sheets. And we have English composition. Of course, we have A1A, English communication, and it's collapsed. So if we open it up, it's going to show me that the student has completed the equivalent of English 101 with that transfer credit. And the TC means transfer, and the C is the grade. But see here? This course is missing. This course has not been completed for this student. So this student still has to complete one of the IGETC courses, or English 205, History 205, or Philosophy 205. So kind of keep that in mind. So I could actually select it here and put it into the planner, or I could type it in later. Okay. Here we have oral communications. The student completed their math. You have a student done an art here, transfer credit. And here's all, remember you were saying earlier, some courses are missing. now I understand you mean missing because they already completed from their transfer credit. But here's all the courses that a student complete in the area of humanities, area 3B. So it's a huge list, right? Languages, literature, ethnic studies, Black studies, Chicano studies, history. So these are all the courses that would satisfy that requirement. So as you use the system, if you're already using it, you should have everything in your course catalog, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So in your course catalog, all this stuff should be built in already into your campus solutions. So these are all the possibilities that a student could take to complete that humanities credit. Okay.
Okay, Guillermo, the reason why I ask you that, because here, if they're working on financial aid stuff, they want the class specifically stated. And what I'm saying is at Mesa, it'll spit it all out for you. So as long as the class is there, you're good.
Yes.
And
so
yeah.
Let me go back then to the planner. So let's say, so when I look at the planner, we have our possibilities for our student, okay? So that humanities class is here. So we put in Humanities 101 or any area 3B I get C. Okay, so we write in these comments.
And Guillermo, can I ask you, so does financial aid read those comments?
Well, Carrie's going to be the expert on the financial aid, but we use the comments down here. Okay. If Carrie has a financial aid example, but let's use veterans as an example. It's very similar to financial aid. Okay. So in the area here for veterans, it says here pending transcript evaluation, credit for calculus, pending evaluation, remaining prep to the major. And so this is where it's similar to financial aid. And we would add additional comments that says reviewed unofficial transcripts, no course duplication or something like that. And we would put down the remaining courses that are needed. Okay.
Part of what's difficult with the planner when it comes to like veterans or financial aid, when you put the notes down here specifically with the date and like it's for the appeal and this is what's required for veterans or for financial aid, it stays there. The planner, they go see another counselor on a drop-in, people are making updates, and you never know if it's exactly as current as it should be. So I always equate it to like, this is like we're writing it on a piece of paper and it's more of a student planner for most of us. But for the financial aid office and for veterans, these notes are how they mostly check for required classes.
And for us, all that stuff is never lost. So you can see here, there's 16 rows up here on top.
Yes.
So if another counselor puts more information on top of it, we could look by just going backward in time. And we could see other counselors have put in information as well, right? So we could look at the first time the student came here, it was a very different plan. Okay. So as students come in and update their plans, we delete, we update, right? But for financial aid, it has to be more static. And so, and the financial aid office can read these comments down below.
And KP and Guillermo under comments, right? You know how it has Afra, then Lindsay Booth, then Valerie Payares, all the different counselors. Can any counselor accidentally type over that?
Yes, you could delete them all.
Why would you guys want to delete it? Like,
Because
have you
sometimes the goal
accidentally deleted it?
Yeah, we've
No,
run out of
sometimes-
space. They've added more space. We can run out of
Oh,
space, but also
okay.
if something changes and they're no longer following a certain major, then we would want to
Gotcha.
get rid of it.
No,
And
let's
then-
say that let's say the student wants to be a philosophy major now. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with deleting it all.
Okay, thank you. And Jeff
Yeah,
had a question.
Yeah, we don't want too much stuff in there. So sometimes our hardest problem is actually having counselors delete courses.
Okay,
So
yeah,
yes, there's a question over there.
yeah.
Gilbert, there's that my advising notes. Is that different? Those kind of that text box there, is that different? I apologize if you already mentioned it, but yeah, is that specific to counselor notes there too?
We actually, the evaluators use it. And so if I click on advising notes, it's somebody already made a modification of graduation.
Hmm.
If I click on the notes, it says that your petition was approved to substitute Math 245 for Computer Science 246. So these are what we call modifications of majors. So you guys have modifications of majors there at Miracosta?
But like you, as far as the evaluation, modifications don't reflect in our audits until graduation. So we do have to keep an eye on that.
So see here, the 245 and computer science 246. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. So there's an example of something that doesn't appear into graduation. And so when I go back to that student and I run the educational plan and I look for Computer Science 246, it's going to show that it's still required. Right here. See how it's not complete, but the modification has been done. But I'm assuming we have a lot fewer than you do, right? So when you have transfer credit, there's nothing that you can do unless you have evaluators going in and putting that into the system. Okay. So my recommendation would be, let's say, using the functionality. So let me pretend here that a student went to, so this is how we add classes to the planner. And I'm going to use Mesa numbers because I'm not familiar with the Miracosta numbers. So let's say a student already completed English 101, 2 units, Math 116, 2 units, communication.
It's not units. Guillermo meant campus. Course.
Oh yeah, campus. Thank you.
Yeah,
Campus,
yeah.
yes. Not units, campus. And we already converted our numbers to the Common Course numbering. So if I put this class, I put these classes here. See how they're unassigned? You can maybe change the title there. Maybe say external education. And you could put a note. I don't know, I'm making it up. Needs area 3B or something, okay? I mean, that's one way that the students could see that not to take it over, or another counselor comes in, that might be a possibility. But if you don't have evaluators who are going to evaluate prior to completion, then I don't see any other way to do it. Is that a possibility for you guys to do something like that?
Oh, everything's a possibility.
And we're actually going to change this. So as we're moving to the 360, our second phase is that we're going to update our planner. Instead of having, so here we have like reason codes here for our GETSI. We're going to put down additional stuff to give us more functionality in the customization. And since you guys are sharing your 360 stuff, I'm sure we could share our planner stuff, right? The coding, so you don't have to recreate. How does a student change their major at Miracosta?
Okay, counselors. Does
You guys
nobody?
don't change majors?
Wait, how come you guys are muted? How do you change your major besides seeing a counselor?
Okay, Karina?
So on the,
Playing chicken with Luke and I'm losing. He's so mean because I keep on answering all the questions. So they can do an update form, I believe. They can come see a counselor. They can do it at admissions. They can update their major. So we do it in 360.
At 360. But do you change it, or do you have to submit a form to admissions?
No, we can change it right there.
Yes. So
Yeah.
how we change it is when we're still on this page, I go to academic plan, hit plan, program plan. Do you change it the same way? No?
Different. No.
Luke's saying no over there.
Yeah, it's different here.
So we would, you have this functionality because this is really an admissions functions to a four-year university. So I add a row. I go to student plan. And if I were to add one, say I'm doing a second plan. And let's say we know our codes here. Let's say I'm gonna pick Miramar College and I'm gonna do an ADT. I could look it up and I could just click on the major. Okay.
And the only reason why there's a lot is because of the different campuses, right?
Yes, and we go back, we actually we have a lot of majors and we have a lot of different GE patterns, right? So we probably have more than most districts.
Yeah, you guys do.
So then I would hit OK, and this will save the plan for the student. Okay, I'm not going to actually save it, but once I hit save the plan, brings me back to the page here, and I would add the history plan on here, and I could delete the other one. So is that simple? Is yours more complicated or easier to change it?
Ours is easier.
Yeah. So in some places, there's still more clicks, right? But it's on the same page, right? So we really like the planner. So we could use the planner. And do you guys like the classes, how you plan for your students? Do you find it easier for you guys? Luke?
It's a matter of getting used to it. I worked at Palomar and they had a planner like this that they were just beginning to institute in about 2009. Then I came over to Maricosa where we went back to the Stone Age, but we didn't have this at all. And I know that in your district, you had to memorize all these codes, and it looks like it's a little bit of the same thing there. But I mean, it just get used to it. Like the system that we have right now took me time to get used to as well. But I do like the idea that everything is in one place instead of having to click the different screens and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the Student 360, as I recall, on the left-hand side has all the student information. If you want the student picture, the student contact phone number, it has all their student contact. And right now we have that here in the general tab. So we have all how we clear prerequisites here. We have their birth date. We have their name, preferred names. We have their address and their phone numbers and their emails. And 360 is, we're going to bring that over to our page, right? We also have transfer credit that you guys don't use at all. So in these cases, we have their transfer credits, see if they've been evaluated. We have the student center where we can see the courses in their shopping cart. And I'm sure you have all these functions as well, correct? Or no?
No, we've been blocked from seeing all this kind of great.
Wait, what? You were blocked? I thought this was the schedule builder that you're doing.
No, this is not the schedule builder. This is the student. This is what our CERP used to look like.
Oh, and then why did they block it?
Well, because it doesn't look like this anymore. We have tiles now, and there's different
We used to have
modules.
yeah, we used to have a function and we don't use it. And so we have, let me see if it's in here. It's
It looked the
under,
same. Yeah, it says their invitation to apply to EOPS. That's pretty cool.
it's the to-do list, right? So they have an invitation also to apply to financial aid and other things here as well. Okay. So what do you think initially? What are your thoughts? Or?
Honestly, aesthetically, this is like going backwards. Like I said, it used to look like this, but functionality wise, I think this is more appealing.
And so here, when we add to the course catalog, so this is the part, let me get another student. I don't want to play with a real student.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So when you give student their ed plan, that's more or less like an audit, yeah? Or is it a term by term?
Well, you're going to define that for yourselves, right? And so the audit is really just an audit that tells all the courses that a student has completed or has not completed.
Mm-hmm.
We like to say that the planner is the functional part that really informs the student what to take semester by semester.
Yeah.
The audit just says what's missing.
Yeah.
So if with the new state regulations, if the state says every student has to have an educational plan, then we'll use the audit, right? But when we're working with students, really the first time students will give them a 2-semester plan. And when a student comes in with an appointment, we would give them the comprehensive that shows all the courses remaining in this planner here, right?
We approach it the same way. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah. So if I were to add this student here, so if I would add a role, and you still have the function, so when a student comes in, you should still, do you know, like right off the bat, if they have transcripts from somewhere else?
No, we don't know right off the bat, but we can get to that external education in PeopleSoft.
Yes, but notice how we did it on our first page here. We
That's
brought
smart.
it to,
I like
yeah,
that a
we brought
lot.
it to this, we brought it to this page.
Yeah.
So even though you don't evaluate it, you could see right away that this student went to a college, and if the transcripts is not here, we say it's desired. When they arrive, we change it to received. And once they're evaluated, they say evaluated. Okay.
Guillermo, when they're evaluated and a course counts for an equivalent to a course at Mesa or SDCCD, where does the evaluator drop that in where a counselor can see it?
It drops it into external education. So let me go back to that other student. Now, let me show you some examples here. Then Jeff, I'll go back and show you where the evaluators put it in. And what they do is they have a page they have access to. They grab that transcript page that I showed you earlier, and they have, I forget what it is, but they're starting to automate these things, and then they plug it into the appropriate areas that they need. But I'll show you where that lives in a minute.
Real quick, Daryl, can I just point out one thing that I think we mentioned that students can see their plans from home, right, through their portal. If the transcripts are not evaluated, so if they're desired or they're received but not evaluated, they can't run the regular degree audit or their ed plan. But we do have something called a what if report. And if they go through that mechanism, the what if report, it's pretty much just saying, here's your plan, but know that not everything's been evaluated. So it's just another way to view it, but they can't run it the traditional way.
And thank you, Kara, for the clarification, because everything that we run through here is a what if report. So notice the student has no transcripts evaluated, but I'm still able to run it because it's a what if report, right? So it's called the what if because we don't know all the credit that is coming in. So here, let me just show you these 3 functions. We added the manual function. It wasn't delivered before, but I could add classes 3 ways for the student. I could manually add a class. So if you know your class numbers, right away, the veteran counselors would know right away how to go in here and add these classes. Okay, I would add that to the planner. If I wanted to plan by the requirements, I click on plan by requirements. And remember, this is the educational plan, the what if report. And let's say I wanted to add that second course in English 205. I click the class. I click on, they're going to take it at Mesa. And this is the bad part, that this is slow. So that's why I like to do the manual part. This part is actually slow. But you could do it this way. You can go course by course in the plan by requirements. If you guys have more money, maybe you can make this go faster. We haven't been able to make it go faster. Okay. So this is the time when you're working with a student, you tell good jokes, right? But here's the class. And you look at this class and then you could add it to the planner. Or maybe this is a bad example because we're moving to the C1001, right? Because we no longer have those courses, right? Return to course offerings. Let me see if, how come I can't put it in the planner? So we could select it this way, but you can see this is one of the things that every system has things you don't like. And I don't think Carrie, do you use this very much? Select them this way? No, okay. But you could if you wanted to. And the third function, let's see, we try one more. Maybe that was just a bad example. I just noticed here that each of the three colleges, English lives in a different department. At Cities, English and Humanities. At Mesa, it's just English. And at Miramar is English and World Languages. Did you know that, Carrie?
But we did have plenty of time to sit there and look at that and read it. So that was nice.
Yeah, so you learn a lot about your district. So one thing here is here's the English 101. So you could, every time you click on the class, it'll tell you what the prerequisite is. It tells you their attributes, what sections, what areas it meets. It tells you also if it's transferable, UC transferable or not. So here's some nice course attributes that are helpful to our students. And the last area that we could add courses from is the entire catalog. So every class that you have at MiraCosta is probably built in this planner because for the faculty in other disciplines, this is how they do their schedules. So if I wanted to look at all the philosophy classes, this is all the philosophy classes we offer in our district. And let's say I wanted to do this one, the philosophy of science. I think it's only at Mesa. I could add it to the planner, return to the planner, and it populates it. Okay. So whichever way people find the most comfortable, but I say most counselors do the manual entry. And then what we do is we put it into, when we hit finalize and copy, what that does, it places it in the student's planner. And this gives us a warning, what's ever in the planner is going to override it. And now it's on the student planner. That's really the big customization that we did, is that this planner was only a function for students, but we made it a function for counselors to put into the student's planner. Okay. Any questions on this?
Yes. Hey, Guillermo, is it possible to do 2 planners for 1 student?
Give me an example why you would do 2 planners for 1 student.
If they had, let's say they started out as like kinesiology and then they decided that they wanted to go to nursing and maybe, just to have the record of the kines.
But they don't want to do kinesiology anymore?
Correct.
What you would do is you would delete it all.
Because there's no record.
You delete it, okay? And then move to the new plan. But remember, everything's saved. It's still there. 1 row backwards.
Oh, yes. Okay, great. So the
Okay, so
student always has that reference, or if there's any
Counselors have the reference. The
counselors
students
do.
do
Okay.
not. Why would a student still need kinesiology?
Because we have the active and inactive plans listed on.
Yeah, they wouldn't. I don't think they would, at least. I don't know about veterans though, because my understanding is sometimes they have 2 active plans.
Yes, but these would be here.
Right, they would just be active. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so counselors worry more about a time stamp that we did in the past than the student does, right? So wow, I want to make sure that I gave them that information, right? I don't want the students deleting it because I don't want to be wrong, right? So that's sometimes why we would want to save the history. But look, this is my daughter. I use them as examples, but I have 40 rows of examples, right? That I did over time. So everything is saved. So it's saved. So let's say that student came back and said, I changed my mind. You can go ahead and bring this page back and put it back in there, right? Does that answer your question about 2 plans? You're muted.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
And I think for us, and Carrie, you could add to it, but this is the most important part, really, adding courses to the planner. Everything here in these comments are for the student, not for the counselor, right? Even though financial aid and veterans use it, it still informs the students what they have to take and what's missing.
And we'll put reminders sometimes in there if we've discussed academic renewal, you know, if they can't do it maybe till the end of the year, like the reminder to come back and do academic renewal, you know, into spring 2025. So there's, you know, and then again, when we publish it and they can see it through their portal, it just adds to kind of their memory.
Yes.
Gamer Carrie, is there a view? I just saw something there kind of said printer friendly version. I was thinking about students with disabilities. Sometimes kind of looking at something might be a little overwhelming. Is there a view of the plan or advising that's kind of a simplified that removes more of the buttons and such?
Yes, if they don't want to do the interactive, let me show you what the PDF.
Okay.
I don't know if it's any more friendly.
I would
Right.
do the PDF. Some people love it. It drives me. I have a hardest time. I don't know if it would be helpful, but
Yeah, some
exists.
counselors only use the PDF. I never use the PDF, but okay, I'm going to show you right now, Jeff. You tell me if it's helpful to you. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going back to that this student. So you can see here, here's the PDF. Do you find it helpful?
Oof.
But Guillermo, can you
Yeah.
share when the counseling faculty would use this form?
It's primarily as a documentation. Okay, so if a student needed an educational plan to submit to a Chapter 31 counselor for VA, they would download it and upload it to their VA counselor. If an outside agency wanted something, that's where it's useful. But if you're looking for the disability side and visibility, I wouldn't be able to answer if there's color changes you could do here to make it more visible. They may be.
I saw some cool stuff that you had in there for like referrals that seemed to kind of break down by different headers when you were scrolling.
Down here, referrals.
There it is. Yeah. Ooh.
So we have different referrals. We're going to update this and to have live links. We don't have live links. It's just a reminder at this point for students to, when we click these things, all it does is, and save it, all it does is give a student a reminder of things. But in the next version after the Student 360, we're going to create live links here for the students. These action items that we have here, like, you know, I'm sure you guys are tired of saying when you're going to graduate, right? When are you going to apply to a CSU? But we just click it and save it or whatever you guys want for your campuses, right? So we try to keep everything as simple on one page as possible. Carrie, what would you say is missing on this planner page?
as far as like how we're trying to upgrade it,
Yeah, what would you want as a counselor or anybody? What would you want on here that you would say that's not here?
well, I wouldn't know if it's missing, but one of the things we noticed with students when it comes to the planner is we can put notes in there and we can say take history 100 or any other humanities from a certain area in the notes. But there is sometimes confusion when they see history 100 and they go to register and it's closed. They'll come in later and say, oh, well, you told me to take this one and it was closed. Kind of
Yeah.
forgetting that there are other options. Even though we leave that note, they don't always read it or I guess remember what it means. So I think some kind of clarity with that would be helpful.
Yes, and that's what we want to do in the next step. So now we would have to click here and type in take any course from area 3A, right? I mean, that's something, so we're looking at ways to simplify that as well. Let me show you, Jeff, you wanted to see the part with where the evaluators do their work. And let me show you that, okay?
Are you guys still okay with time? Everyone here?
And we could finish tomorrow, but let me just show you the evaluators really quickly.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
And external education, we could click here. And this is the page that the evaluators, not very friendly to us, but here's the page that shows the courses. And this is the input on the evaluator side, okay? And how we use it and the students use this page in a little friendlier version, we would use over here the transfer credit report. And it cleans it up a little bit for the students to see what, and counselors to see how they were evaluated.
Guillermo,
we're out of
where
time.
are
Thank
you
you.
guys with the Smart Panda? Because Miracosta is using Smart Panda too.
I think they already implemented it. So the Smart Panda is the one that kind of reads the transcripts and kind
Yes.
of, yes,
Yes.
they're already using it.
Okay,
So the Smart Panda would pull up this transcript. And they still need a version of somebody to go over it to see if it's accurate, right? But yeah, it's implemented already.
and how long is it taking to get transcripts evaluated right now?
A long time.
Where are you? Are you 12 weeks?
No, 90 days.
Oh, so-
90 to 120.
So it's still taking 4 months, okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
So it's a great service we have for our students, but it does take a long time. And Carrie's going to feel a little better that you guys don't do it at all. So.
No, Bridget's dream is to get it done in 5 days. At first, she told me 24 hours. She said
Oh.
5 days.
How many evaluators do you have at Amira Costa?
I have no clue.
Yes.
4?
Yeah, I think there's 4 right now.
Yes. And how many transcripts? The bad thing about Mesa College, for whatever reason, Mesa College gets a lot of transcripts, right? And so maybe you could do it in 5 days. That'd be great if you can. Let me know how you do it. But since we're out of time, maybe you guys could look at, and for tomorrow, is it tomorrow?
Yeah,
When are we meeting next?
tomorrow.
Yes.
Please don't call in sick.
Okay. The whole thing is how we're going to, if you have any questions, okay?
Guillermo, if a student pulls up their ed plan and they click on the course, it's not going to take them to the current offerings, is it?
Yes, it was.
So currently for the registration period for fall.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there you go, Jeff. Can you show us really quick? Do you mind?
Show what?
So whatever's on their ed plan, if they click on that, it'll take them to the current offerings from the schedule for fall?
Yes. So
Whoa,
how they would do it as a student.
yes,
Okay, let me show you how it would go. So if I was a student, and remember, let's see if it works because I'm not a real student. I go to my planner
yes,
and I want to take this class here.
okay,
And what I would do is I go to enrollment, add a class, and I want to go for summer,
uh-huh.
and I could select from my planner, my educational plan, or the class search.
Look, hallelujah, Jeff.
So if I go to my planner, I see this class for the summer. See, the counselor already offered it. It says not offered in the summer.
So it's the
And I-
planner, not the ed plan. So it's a semester breakdown.
Yes, but I could, I could also do it from, let's see this work, the student, so I could do it by my requirements. Let's see if it works. I don't think it's gonna work for me because I don't really have an ed plan in here. But if it
Gotcha.
did, it would take me to my plan, it would take me to my ed plan and I could select it from there as well.
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
Just to clarify, you mean like if it's on your ed plan, whether it's the summer semester or fall or spring?
So you can either select the classes on the planner that the counselor mapped out for you, or if a student never saw a counselor, they could go directly to their ed plan and pick all their classes from their ed plan.
Sorry,
Thank you so much.
just to clarify, you said if they've never signed a saw council, they can select from their ed plan. So you're talking about, when you talk about my ed plan or their ed plan, you're talking about like the requirements for their program of study.
Correct. So whatever they have in their application, so I'm sure Miracosta the same way, they apply, they put in a major, right? And if that major is correct, and if they like that major, they could go in there and click in their program of study and select the courses from the program of study.
Mm,
Yeah, we call that the degree audit here.
yeah.
Well, tomorrow, what time is it for tomorrow? Since Carrie's my
Las dos.
It's on your schedule. It's the very last hour.
Can I, yeah, you are hilarious. You logged in an hour early today.
I did.
That's what I call commitment.
Well, Carrie did it. Carrie was busy. She didn't tell me where I had to be at that
He's
time.
Panicking and sending me texts telling me that I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, but I was in the right place at the right time.
But I'm really proud of you, Guillermo. All my life, I never thought you'd be a department chair. Are you responding to emails now?
Did you send me one? Should I go check? That's a joke.
But I so appreciate you both. This is just super helpful, and I hope tomorrow we can come back with more questions and stuff.
Yeah, just let me know if it's something. And I think if there's something, I think if you wanted to steal this stuff, I think Victor DeVore would be the one to contact, right?
Yeah.
And then they would connect you with the IT.
Yeah, they're already working with each other to help with the 360. So
Thank
All right, guys.
Thank you, Carrie.
Good to see you guys.
Appreciate your time. Good
thank
to
you,
see
everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.